Our special guest on the Shed Online today is Dr Karl Kruszelnicki. He's an author and science commentator on radio and TV. Karl, welcome to the Shed Online.
Oh, thank you, Dr Tony. Very kind of you.
Now, we hear you have a new book. Maybe you could tell us about it and how it might relate to men.
Ta-da! Leaning over, reaching in. Ta-da! Brand new book with the life-saving poo transplant. And the way it relates to men is that as a medical doctor, when I was working at the repat hospitals, we'd see the case where, rarely, the woman would die before the man, married couple. Normally it's the man who dies first. In this, when the woman would die first, we'd look out for anemia in the man. Because the guys didn't know how to cook. They didn't know food. They would live on a tea and toast diet. Tea has tannins, which grab onto the iron in your bloodstream. Toast has phytates, P-H-Y-T-A-T-S, which grab onto the iron and pull it out of your bloodstream. So these guys would go iron deficient. You'd never expect a man to go iron deficient. And they would, because they were on the tea and toast diet. And if they didn't, it was because they were going down to the Rissole and getting meat and 3 veg meal every now and then, and that was giving them just enough iron to go through. So in that sense, it talks about the fact that you can't just not know about food, you've got to understand it so that you are healthy, so that you don't end up anemic, which is surprising. And so the book starts off with a story about a woman who was dying, who had lost 27 kilograms of weight and whose life was saved by having a poo transplant. She'd been infected. She had lost over 1/3 of her body weight. She was just about to die after 8 months, so they went up her husband's back end and collected 30 grams, about an ounce, of faeces, of poo, and mixed it with water, then squirted it at 1 metre up her back end, and within 2 days she was gaining weight and then had come back to life because it had reset the bacteria in her gut. And hang on a second, bacteria in your gut, what's this all about? Okay, 90% of the cells in your body are not you. Only 10% of the Tony cells, of the cells in the Tony body, have got Tony DNA. 90% are bacteria that have invaded us, so much so that we're basically the carrier for moving them around the planet. If the aliens came, they'd say, hey, forget Tony, I want to talk to the boss here, let me talk to the bacteria. And so these bacteria very strongly influence your health, and only very rarely they go as way off as they did in this case of this poor woman. And also the book talks about how vodka, in fact, does have calories and why asparagus smells and ice cream headaches and all sorts of other... And look, I'm going to summarise the most important thing for men. Here it comes. Okay, guys, eat food, comma, mostly vegetables, comma, not too much. So by food, I mean stuff that your parents and grandparents would recognise, not something that's been blister packed, vacuum sealed, and you need a jack pick to open. Eat food, comma, mostly vegetables, sure, meat, good. And no doubt that a vegetarian diet does have health benefits, but eat food, mostly vegetables, comma, not too much. That's it. If you can stick with that, but then there's more to it because the food industry plays dirty tricks. I'm talking about the processed food.
Speaking of food, we have some questions from our online members. Maybe I could fire a few at you.
Sure.
Adam writes, which foods are best for dealing with a midlife crisis?
Eat food, comma, mostly vegetables, not too much. That's the easy answer to that. And the other part of it is do some exercise. It is amazing, but actually doing exercise will bring you out of a depression. It will give you time to think. And in the federal parliament, we have Mr Abbott, and he has a lot of time by himself where he can think when he's riding on his bicycle. It is important that you do some exercise, not just for the good of your body, but for the good of your mind. So, Dr Adam, eat food, mostly vegetables, not too much, and do exercise. You know about the pilgrimage walk across Spain?
No.
Okay. There's this pilgrimage walk that you can do, which you don't have to be a pilgrim or religious. And it's a really easy walk. You just walk 25 kilometres a day. You know, 8 hours a day, 3 kilometres an hour. It's easy. A lot of people who are having midlife crises do that. And it's set up for the pilgrim. Every 5 kilometres, there is a village where you can stop and eat and have a food or have a lie down or hire a hotel. And there's even a church so you can get married or divorced or whatever it is, right? It's a really easy walk. And by the way, guys, don't even think of carrying a backpack. And the majority of the people who were on it were because of a midlife crisis. We were just going because my mother-in-law wanted to do it. And if she's going to have a holiday, we're going to join in. And so there'd be an obstetrician who had retired. There would be a married couple whose 8-year-old child had died of cancer, and they couldn't work out why the child was dead and they were still alive. And there were people who had various problems with their family. So this is a good thing to do, and it's really cheap. You fly to Spain, spend a week jet lagging, go to Barcelona, take a train to the top right-hand corner of Spain, walk across Spain. 1 month later, you've done 800 kilometres, you're skinny, you've been eating Spanish food, and you might have met a whole bunch of friends. I would say that's a really good way to deal with a midlife crisis. Walk it out.
This one's from John. What do you think of eliminating fructose from your diet as a means of losing weight?
Yes and no. The book, which he's probably referring to, was written by a lawyer who is not a dietitian. And the book claims that fructose is evil in every way. There's a small amount of truth in it. I can see the problem that fructose is used and added to foods all over the place where it's not needed. Hey, eat food, mostly vegetables, not too much, and you'll avoid the whole fructose thing. So avoiding the excess fructose, sure. Is fructose the devil? No.